Okay, so now that we're in season 11 and a couple of days in and I've had time to experiment with Wattson a little bit, I wanted just to give a quick overview of the things I feel like you can do maybe a little differently now and how good she is in general. I would say this season that Wattson is definitely a lot more viable and all the changes were pretty good. She definitely feels really fun and flashy in pubs, and in ranked and comp you could make her work with the right team. Well, that's kind of just my quick little overview. I do think she is really good now. She still gets outclassed by some legends in the game, obviously, but it's not to the point anymore where your teammates think you're throwing just for picking her. So that being said, I'm going to get into the guide now, and I will show you guys what I know. So I'm going to split this video into 3 sections, and in this section right here that I'm going to do right now, it's going to be a general overview of Wattson's abilities. And if you're already relatively familiar with Wattson, then this section right here might not help you that much, and you can skip ahead to the other 2. But if you're someone new coming to Wattson after season 11, or maybe you're just new to the game in general, watch this section right here and I'll try to give you a rundown of Wattson in general as a legend and what she can do. So to start off, I'm going to go over her passive, and her passive is that she can actually carry 2 ult Kasellos per slot instead of 1. And she gets her ultimate back right away when she uses 1 instead of 35%. And then she also passively healed shields over time. So if I pick up this purple armor and you look in the bottom left, you can see my shield is going up on its own. So her ultimate is used for blocking nades, and it's also used to recharge your shields quicker on anyone on the team. So if I pick up the purple, you can see my shield goes up a lot quicker now. And Jen also has an overlay now. Right here, you can see. If you see the blue circle going down, that means how much shield is left on the Jen. So once all those blue boxes become gray, that means that the Jen can no longer heal shields, and then it acts as just anti-grenade or anti-utility. Because Wattson ult, not only does it block nades, it can also block enemy abilities and ultimates like Bangalore ultimate, TB ultimate. It can block fuse, knuckle clusters, ashes, tactical. So it can do a lot of things. Anything that's a projectile, it can basically destroy midair. And they also updated the Gen, so it's a lot less likely to destroy anything that's inside of its range. So as you can see, there's a blue outline now of where the Gen's capabilities are. So when you're inside this ring, it's a lot less likely to destroy your nades compared to enemies outside of it. You can see if I throw a nade next to it, it's not going to destroy it. So if I walk outside the range of the blue ring that the Gen has, then it will eat anything I throw at it.
Tossing a grenade.
You can see I have a Gen down now, and my ultimate is completely recharging. It's basically empty. If I use an ult excel as Wattson, I'll get it back right away. Okay, now for fences, there's not a whole lot to talk about other than you get 12 nodes total. So if you look where it shows deploy and cancel for my keybinds, there's a bunch of diamond shapes going around a circle. And that shows you how many nodes you have down and how many you have left to place. So I have 4 fences down, so there's 4 blue diamonds and there's 8 gray diamonds, which is basically saying that I can put down 8 more. So every time I put one down, it'll go around in a circle and it'll show you how many more you have left. So any node that only has 1 fence coming off of it, like right here, can be extended into another fence. So if I go like this, I can put down 2 more nodes, but I also made a whole nother fence off of one of the ones I originally placed. And then I can just go around and connect this all the way back. So as Wattson, what you should try to do normally is connect all your nodes to each other if you have the range to do it. Because whenever you connect 2 nodes to each other, you're basically getting another extra fence. So if I wanted to connect these 2 that are still single nodes and don't have 2 fences connected, I could just go like this and put one in the middle and then connect them both to each other. That's about it for my basic overview though. There's not much more to go over there, and now I'm going to get into the more advanced things. There's actually a trick you can do with Wattson where if you're playing a door and someone is on the other side, you can put a node behind them, and you can set this up in advance if you want to. You can put the node inside and shut the door, and then you play the door and say they run up and they hold the other side of it. You can put a fence down behind you like this, extending it off of the one inside. And then the moment you step off the door, a fence will come up and hit the person inside and stun them for 3 seconds, like this. And I'll show you guys an example of this. Okay, so the fence now on doors, you actually can't play it normally like you could before. In the past, you could put the fence right under you, but you can't do that anymore. To do it now, you actually have to turn around and place it behind you. And not only can you just place it behind you, you also have to get off the door now to make the fence go up. So something you can actually do now is you can pre-place this setup for the door trick, where you could have these nodes already set, And as long as you're sitting on the door and no one's shooting you, you can sit here and wait for someone to get on the door. And the moment they get on the door, you can just walk off of it. That way you don't even have to show them that you're trying to go for the trick. So this right here is a little harder to pull off, but if you're in narrow hallways, with the buffed fence placement range, you can now bait people into chasing you and then extend a fence all the way to you from one you put down originally to have them run into it unexpectedly. Remember, when you or a friendly teammate is standing on one of your fences, the fence doesn't actually show up. So you can sit on a fence on a doorway and make it look like there's no fence there and have someone chase you. And the moment they're about to come through the doorway, you can actually get off the fence so they run into it not knowing it ever existed. With the buff to how quickly you can place fences and how fast they come up now, you can actually fence people mid-fight. This is something I've been doing a lot recently, and I won't lie, it's definitely hard to do and you won't get it that often, but it's very satisfying to do once you actually get it. And in the background, I'm going to play a couple clips of it happening mid-fight. Okay, now the last two general things with Wattson is you typically want to play inside because Wattson's better inside than outside. But if you're ever stuck in a situation outside, remember your main goal is to just block line of sight and make it harder to see you by playing behind your fences. If you're ever outside, you want to put fences behind cover so it can't be shot out as easily. So if I were to be playing right here, I would just put fences where they're hard to see and then behind all these trees. So it's a lot harder to see actually where the nodes are. And then I will just play behind them to make it harder to see me. Now when you're playing inside a building, you want to put the fences as far away from the door as you can while keeping it as close to the door as you can, if that makes sense. What I'm saying is, instead of putting fences like this to block a doorway, because this doesn't really do anything, if someone peeks the door, they could just shoot the fence. What you want to do is put it as far away from the angle that an enemy can get as possible. So if I were to play right here, you put it like this. So the only way they can come in and destroy the nodes is if they take the hit by the fence. A team is a lot less likely to push you when they know the only way to actually destroy the node is to take the 20 fence damage first and the 3-second stun. And as I showed before, you would also do it with the other door and you would extend it off of any that you can extend it off of and then finish it like that. Now my final tip is actually for playing Wattson more aggressively and less defensively. If there's a team playing inside here, what you want to do is you would fence off where you don't think you're going to come through. So I'd fence off that door, and then I would go to, say, this one over here, and I would start fighting from right here. And I'd also probably fence this one off, too. This way, you know if they try to leave the building. And then also, if you get hit, say, 150 damage, and you think they're going to push out on you because they did a lot of damage, having the doors blocked off from the outside makes it a lot harder for them to capitalize off of doing big damage to you or your team. So that's my big tip for playing aggressively. You want to control the fight by using fences on entries and exits. Now that we're on to the Wattson Ult part of the video, this won't be much longer because there's not a whole lot you can do with it because it's pretty self-explanatory. It just heals your shields and it eats enemy ordnance. The key thing with the gen is if you're inside of a building, you want to put it where you know it's still going to help you. So if people start throwing nades inside, you know it's still going to help you and it's still going to block the nades. So that's kind of just up to your decision. You just want to look around your building and look where the best spot you think it would be. And another important thing is to put it somewhere that has the least amount of line of sight. What I mean by that is where enemies could see it the least. So if I were to play this building, I'd probably put it right here. Because the only spot that could see the gen would be out here. But this is still going to do a good job at not getting destroyed while eating enemy nades. Now if you're outside and you have to put the gen down outside somewhere, typically there's not much of a good spot you can ever get it. Your best bet is always just to put it behind some form of cover, like a tree or a rock in the open. And it will most likely get destroyed, so you kind of want to do this reactively. The only time I ever personally put down a gen outside is when I want to heal my shields off of it quickly, or if a team is spamming ordnance at me like ultimates or grenades. I've always said this in the past, but don't be afraid to put the gen down mid-fight. If you take some damage and you still want to keep fighting, just put the gen down and let yourself passively heal while you keep fighting. You can see here in this clip, I don't even really have to stop and heal at all because I put the gen down and it's healing me so quickly where I don't need to heal and waste time. Now here's another thing you can do if you're getting chased and you need to buy yourself some time really quick, is you can actually run into a building and shut the door and put your gen on the door. Not only does that mean they have to break the door, that means they have to break the gen too, just to get inside to keep chasing you. So I'm showing you from the outside perspective of trying to chase a Wattson, just put a gen on the door, and this is how long it's going to take you to have to get inside. And by that point, if you're the Wattson inside, there's a good chance you've almost fully healed already or you've ran away. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is using the gen as cover mid-fight, and I don't have anyone here with me right now, so I can't show you doing it on an actual person. But, you know, luckily a storm point has spiders, so I'm going to show you using spiders. So if you're having a really bad situation, put your gen down and start using it as cover. And what you're going to do is you're going to crouch around it like this. And you're going to keep going back and forth. Because they either have to destroy the gen, or they have to try to shoot you. And either way, they're not going to hit all their bullets and you're playing around this right here. As you can see, it's pretty easy to crouch spam around it. It really is not hard at all. And until your giant gets destroyed, you can keep doing it. Also, I won't lie, I did not know Wattson Ult ate the webs that the spiders shoot at you, so this is also an interesting fact I just learned. So I feel that is about all I have left for the video. I can't think of anything else that's important for me to bring up. If I end up forgetting something, I'll either leave it down in the comments or I'll make a whole nother guide. That being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. And if you want to see Wattson gameplay, you can watch my other YouTube videos or you can follow me on Twitch. I stream almost every day and play Wattson. And with that, my socials are in the description. And peace out and have fun playing Wattson.